Nice to know.
Remember, you can purchase all of Dr. Morgan's products at her website at www.drjudymorgan.com. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure it's morning somewhere in the world. And I apologize that we are sort of all over the place with timing, but I just haven't quite figured out this new thing with getting all 35 farm animals fed in the morning and then getting to the office and getting some work done and figuring out where the live video fits into that. So sort of catch as catch can. And I was just walking around the warehouse and it dawned on me that we have so many people who are making pet food for their dogs and cats, and in the book Canine Kitchen Capers, people wrote stories talking about how they're so squeamish when it comes to having to buy and handle things like liver and kidneys, and how difficult it is to find some of those organs. Hair Today has been a great resource for us to find some of the weird things that we like to put into our recipes, and it really is important to get that organ meat in there. The organ meat provides nutrition that we don't get just from muscle meat. So it's pretty important that we are able to source that and get that in. And when I read stories of people who literally are dressing themselves in waterproof suits from head to toe with 3 layers of gloves so they don't have to touch anything, with the clothespin on their nose so they don't have to smell anything. And all I can say is that's true dedication for your animals when you're willing to do that. But there are options for those of you who either can't stand to touch that stuff, don't want to smell that stuff, don't have resources available to get fresh organs. There's a lot of companies that make freeze-dried organs, and we happen to have a couple that we work with. So I wanted to show you some of the options that are available. So we talk a lot about using heart in the recipes. And heart does count as a muscle meat. So we actually have 2 companies that we have heart supplied from. One is, this is the working in the mirror thing. One is Momentum, and for them we have turkey, chicken, and beef heart. And then the other company that we've started carrying is Farmhounds, and we have beef heart from them. The Farmhounds is more like a sort of a jerky strip, whereas the Momentum, these are sliced turkey hearts. The chicken hearts are whole, and then the beef are like little cores. But if you can't find these sorts of things, if you can't find fresh heart to add to your recipes, then using heart or whatever organs as treats is going to supply a lot of the nutrition that we're looking for from the products. So liver tends to be a little bit easier to find in the stores. I can generally find calf's liver, sometimes beef liver, and chicken liver at the grocery store, but we also have freeze-dried liver. And there's a lot of different companies that make this. We just happen to really like this company. We think they're high quality and their sourcing is good. Gizzards. And those have been really difficult to find, really difficult. Puploaf has a lot of turkey or chicken gizzard in it. And the equivalent to gizzard, so we do have freeze-dried, which way am I going? Turkey and chicken gizzards. And again, these are more like a chew in a like a long strip. They're pretty hard. It depends on the dogs. Some of my Stewie will gulp that down pretty quickly, whereas the other kids will play with it for 20 minutes. The equivalent, if you can't find gizzards, would be tripe. And so we happen to have the buffalo tripe, but you can also buy beef tripe, lamb, goat, venison. There's a lot of different types of tripe available, and we also have the wolf, which is tripe and green lip mussel. I didn't grab one of those, but it's the stomach of the animal basically. Tripe is the first stomach of the 4 stomachs of the cloven-hooved beasts, and then the gizzards are the first part of the digestive system for birds. Okay, we also have some of the weird organs. We have lungs, which if you have an animal who suffers from respiratory difficulties, you want to feed lung. Remember, like treats like. We have kidneys. For those kids who need some kidney support, for animals with kidney disease, tripe and kidney are two of the best protein sources for them. And then we also have spleen. And remember, from TCVM standpoint, spleen is part of the digestive system, even though it's a little bit different for us from a Western medicine standpoint. But spleen would also be really good for anemic animals because it is a blood-producing organ and blood storage organ. So very, very good for anemic animals. And then the other thing that we get complaints about that people don't want to smell, don't want to handle is sardines. And I've been feeding our pets with a new feeding system, our dogs with a new feeding system. I didn't realize I could do it for the cats too, so that's coming next. And we're going to talk about that sometime in the near future here.
Maybe you could do breakfast tomorrow.
Maybe we could do breakfast tomorrow. So, yeah, my meals for my dogs have totally changed. So one of the things that we recommend in Puploaf or a few times a week for all of our animals are either sardines or eggs because of the omega-3 that we get from them. A lot of people can't stand handling sardines, can't stand smelling sardines. Even opening the can of sardines is enough to make them want to run the other direction. So here's another option. You can do little tiny fish as treats. We also have the dried skins. We have the dried logs that they can chew on, but this is another way to get the omega-3s. Are dried products going to offer the absolute same level of nutrition that a fresh product would offer? It might be decreased a little bit, but most of that nutrient value is still there. So if this is your only option, let's say you live in the hinterlands and you cannot get fresh organs shipped to you and keep them frozen. Our last order from Hair Today was shipped out last Tuesday. It was supposed to be here Thursday. It didn't arrive Thursday. On Friday, the driver showed up and there was tape across the end of our driveway because we just had the concrete poured. And we left our UTV, which is our little farm vehicle. It's like a little mini all-terrain vehicle. We left it down at the end of the driveway in the hopes that when the driver would come, he would just throw the box into that and we could drive it up the driveway. Oh, no, couldn't do that. Instead, he drove it back to the plant all the way over in Durham for storage. So our frozen food that was supposed to arrive on Thursday, so only 48 hours on dry ice in the mail, would have been fine, but then it sat in a truck literally for 13 hours on Friday, then arrived back at FedEx. Luckily, somebody called us and said, okay, I've got this refrigerated sort of frozen package that was supposed to be delivered, and the driver, he should have called your phone number that, there's a reason you put your phone number in there. He should have called your number, but he didn't, so instead he brought it back to the plant. Do you want to come pick it up? Now, this was Friday night at about 7 o'clock. Hugh and I had just started our evening martini, and I looked at him, and we both said, no, we do not feel like driving 45 minutes to Durham on Friday night at 7 o'clock. So the guy on the other end was nice enough to say, well, I can put it in our freezer, and you can pick it up tomorrow. Thank God, at least the food got back into a freezer. So we drove over midday on Saturday to pick it up, and it was, mostly frozen. So anyway, so having frozen food delivered, particularly in the heat of the summer, is very difficult. And so this, using freeze-dried products is just another option. These are cheap to ship, much cheaper to ship than frozen food because it's lightweight because you're not paying to ship moisture. So I love getting our fresh frozen goods. I would love getting stuff locally. The Viva Raw that we have found locally, my cats and dogs are both just falling over themselves for this stuff. Gwen posted a coupon code for our supporters. We were giving them first dibs because we didn't want to overwhelm the company. And
they said they're restocking tomorrow.
They're restocking tomorrow. So we will talk about it tomorrow and post the coupon code for people. But let me just tell you, my cats have not eaten frozen raw food in about 5 years. They've just turned their nose up at it, and they are diving in head first. They love this new product, and our dogs think it's really phenomenal. It's not a complete diet, so it does have to be balanced, but it's just one more thing that I'm adding into our rotation with some of our freeze-dried, with the frozen all-provide that we feed. That's sort of been our mainstay. But the dogs do like to have some rotation in their meals as well. So hopefully this helps. For those of you who are a little squeamish, you do have other options, and I'm sure in your local pet stores you can find freeze-dried products of all the different organs as well. Most pet stores carry them. Do watch your sourcing. Make sure you are getting things that are made in the U.S., well, except for like Icelandic fish. They're coming from Iceland and Scandinavian waters a lot of times, which are probably the cleanest waters. Just watch your sourcing, ask questions about the products. If you can find grass-fed or organic, certainly that would be a better option. These products are grass-fed. And I know that Hair Today, they're doing some freeze drying as well, and a lot of their products are also grass. I think all their products are grass-fed, pretty much locally sourced. So, okay, everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see if I can get us a little bit of music. I was not able to see comments as I was going along, so maybe I can get back in there at some point. And a cat and a dog. We have a cat and 4 dogs in the office today. Why not?
She was smelling.
See you tomorrow.